Okay.
Anyway, sorry, start.
It's okay. What's up, Pits? Welcome back to the Cherry Pit podcast. My name is Melody, and today I have two very special guests. Welcome, Harshita and Tati.
Woo!
Okay, so my weekly hypothetical for you guys. Would you rather... Oh, God, I've already done that one. Just kidding. Would you kill one innocent child to heal the world's diseases forever?
Bro.
Oh, this is gonna be out on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, but like if we could save like millions of people
Mhm.
by killing one kid.
That's exactly...
This is Schrodinger's
That's
cat
the-
all over
yeah.
again.
Okay, but like we have to think about this though. Like, is the kid a bad kid? Like,
Yeah.
It's a baby. It's an infant.
Oh.
So you don't know...
Oh.
You don't know what they're going to be up to in the next few years.
But is their parents like Adolf Hitler though? But like,
Yeah,
It could be. I don't know.
bro.
It's a hypothetical.
People are gonna come for us before first time on the actual podcast, and people are like, kill them all. Why are they here? Yeah. We're gonna
You're not
move
gonna answer?
on, yeah, because I don't want to get
You don't
canceled
wanna- okay,
before
sure,
I
sure,
even
sure.
start anything.
It was a hard one. It was a difficult one. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Set us up for failure. From the get-go. Can't
That was
believe
my
that.
bad.
they're gonna clip that part only.
So you guys wanted to talk about being international students?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess like before we get into whatever you guys want to say, can you guys both go over your like the reason why you're here? Kind of. That sounds like kind of bad, but you know what I mean. Like the reason why you decided to come to Vancouver
Yeah.
and like come to school here.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go first. I'm from the Philippines. That's where I was born and raised in Manila.
Mhm.
And I mainly came to Canada just for like better education,
Mhm.
I guess. And I heard SFU had like a really good comms program. If I
Yeah.
did college in the Philippines, I still would have done like comms.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just the pandemic definitely like changed a lot of my plans. I was definitely
Yeah.
like on track to just do college in the Philippines, and then the pandemic hit. And then I was like, do
Yeah.
I really want to like live like this?
Yeah.
Do I really
Right.
want to have like education here in the Philippines where it's just like online for 4 years?
Right. Oh, the whole time,
Oh.
like
Yeah.
regardless of the pandemic.
Yeah, like
yeah.
like I think they only opened up schools like a year ago.
Right.
Oh wow.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So that's my reason. How about you,
Hmm.
Harshita?
Oh girl, my initial plan wasn't even to come to Canada at all. It was going to I always wanted to study abroad. That's
Yeah.
been decided since possibly before I was even born. But and then obviously it was my goal to study abroad as well, but I wanted to go to the UK
Mhm.
and figure something there. And I was initially into econ and business. Then pandemic hit,
Yeah.
plans changed. Canada was what I decided,
Mhm.
and SFU seemed, I think, SFU and like two other schools in Nova Scotia and Manitoba were the ones that were the only
Yeah.
applications open
Okay.
because
yeah.
it was a late moment decision that I made to come to Canada
Mhm.
and got in all three, which was great. But I was like, no, Vancouver sounds good. Good decision. But
Yeah.
yeah, so now I'm here, and now I'm not doing econ and business. 2 years into econ and business, I was like, hell no, this is not for me. Found
Yeah.
out about comms, realized like my passion and where it truly lies, and now I'm
Mhm.
here doing this podcast, and I don't think I could be more grateful for the journey that I've had.
That's awesome.
But yeah, pandemic definitely did change
Yeah,
a lot
100%.
of plans. Yeah.
yeah, I heard it did for a lot of people for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's always so interesting for me to hear people's stories as international students because like I grew up down the mountain and came up here for school. So I haven't went out there into the world as they say. But yeah, so you guys like it here?
Ooh.
Do you have any regrets?
No, I know a lot of people would assume I would have regrets, especially the way plans change, and my plans definitely change a lot. Like I changed my
Mhm.
entire degree altogether, like halfway through it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't. Like once I realized what my mind was at, what I see myself doing, and what my passion is, I truly don't have any regrets, and all the things I've done it because I wanted to get to the place that I am at.
Right.
And I, the only, it's not a regret, but it's obviously something that ties back to, I think every international student is like, you always think like, what if you did not make this move
Right.
and instead stayed in your home country? I'm from India, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I did stay back home, would my life be different than what it is now? And
Yeah.
would it be better? It's just a what
Right,
if
yeah.
aspect of it. It's not regret per se.
It's like I wonder what would happen.
Yeah.
Or like if you went to a different country. Per
yeah,
se.
like
yeah.
if I
Yeah.
went to the UK, what would have
Yeah.
happened?
Right, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I think about that. I think everyone thinks about that. Like, because I did consider going abroad. But for me, it was just like, oh, SFU is very close. Like, it's so convenient and it's a good school, like, on the world scale or whatever. And so, I mean, I even chose it over UBC for convenience.
Yeah.
How about you, Tati?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like regrets. I've definitely like had that what if moment. Like, what would my life be like if I just stayed in the Philippines?
Yeah.
But like one thing I wish that I like was better prepared was I wish I was more like prepared like mentally, like emotionally,
Yeah.
for the kind of like the emotional weight that like moving would have on you,
Right.
and like the kind of like what homesickness would feel like.
Yeah. So do you guys like talk to your families often? You miss them a lot, or?
Yeah. I think this was exactly what Tati and I were having a conversation previously about as well.
Yeah.
It's about like the preparation, especially I think both of us are like, we're gonna be graduating in like a year-ish.
Right.
So we started uni during the pandemic.
Right. Yeah.
And we were there, at least I was there, I did 1.5 year of uni there,
Mhm.
like in India, online,
Yeah.
right? And then I came to Canada, so
Right.
like the transition from online uni to in-person, and in-person in an entirely new country altogether
Right.
was crazy. And I don't think anyone could have even prepared me for what it entails.
Right.
Like, oh, it's like moving and you pack your bags, and like you're, as international students, you're taking your entire life apart, that you've lived there for like 18, 19 years of your life,
Yeah.
in 225-kilogram suitcases,
Yeah.
packing it up and coming here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's kind of crazy. But
That
yeah,
is
we do. I
crazy.
do talk to my family like almost every day, or at least I try to.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I call my mom like pretty often,
Okay.
cause like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I just like I miss her so much,
Mm.
and I
That's
don't
so
know, but like
sweet.
at the same time, I'm also every time I'm on the phone with her, like I just get too sad, cause I'm
Aw,
like
yeah.
she doesn't know the life that I have here, like she only knows like what I tell her,
Yeah.
and it's just like same like vice versa, like I don't
Yeah.
understand, like I don't like experience the life that she has there in the Philippines, and it just makes me so sad, like I just
Right.
miss them so much.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
also to like echo on what Harshita was saying about like our whole world and like suitcases. Like I remember I was reading the Peak article.
Yeah.
About like the intricacies of like immigration.
Mm.
Actually a pretty good article. Like you guys
Yeah.
should check that out. And like
Yeah.
there was one part in that article that basically said like to a lot of immigrants like these trinkets like hold so much value because to them it just holds like so much memories of like back home. And to them it's like their whole world, you know.
Right. Yeah, I can totally understand that piece because my parents were immigrants, so
Yeah.
we definitely have lots of like those kinds of trinkets from from their home. Do you guys think like would you wish that your families came here over your home country? Like, do you think Canada overall, outside of school and stuff, is a better location, or do you feel like you want to go back after your school?
Wow.
That's a tough one, but
Lovely
yeah.
questions. You're actually setting us up for failure from the get-go. I'd say no. I don't want my parents to uproot their entire lives
Yeah.
to come here.
Yeah.
Like for me, I lived 18 years of my life 19 almost years of my life in India, born, raised, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And for me, like, just living that chunk of time where I was a kid, I didn't
Yeah.
know shit.
Right,
Okay,
right.
I wasn't worried about anything in my life,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And for me to just uproot my life and come here, it was so hard. It till
Yeah.
today is so hard. I can't imagine putting my parents through the whole process of, like, letting go of whatever they've ever known,
Yeah.
their entire 40, 50 years of life, coming here, starting afresh.
Right.
Like, as much as I want to be with my family, I feel that's like always a selfish thought in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, should I go back? Like, I miss them too much. But then I don't
Yeah.
think whatever my parents did to get me to be at this level
Right.
would ever amount to the fact if I went back. I don't think that's something I would want for myself, or my parents have done all this stuff to get me here for me to just go back.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree so much with like Harshita's answer too. Like my parents have a pretty like comfortable life back
Yeah.
home.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want them to like uproot their entire like world, like their families are back there, like their
Mhm.
businesses are there, their
Yeah,
like
yeah.
their home, everything is back home. And I don't want them to like come here and have none of that, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
None
yeah.
of that security, none of that comfort, none of
Yeah.
that community.
Hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah.
it would break my heart too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting for me to hear about, like, to get a better perspective on, like, what my parents had to go through. Because they were, well, my mom at least, like, came after she did schooling and stuff in Iran. So it's, like, at a little bit of a later stage in life. And I feel like the older you are, the harder it is to do that big move,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No, honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
this is a pretty good segue. I think we talked about like privilege.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
because like being an international student is a big privilege. Like not
Yeah.
everyone can afford
Yeah.
Right, right.
being an international student,
Of course, yeah.
and definitely takes a lot of like money
Hmm.
to actually like live here
Yeah,
and be a
yeah.
student.
Yeah, sweat, blood, tears, all
Yeah.
of that included,
Yeah.
money included.
Yeah.
I think like something I mentioned yesterday was like as an international student, I'm like my parents' biggest investment.
Right. That makes so much sense, yeah.
Yeah, because like it takes so
Yeah.
much money, right?
Yeah.
So I was like every time I fail or I do something, I'm like, oh, I can't fail at this. Like
right.
my
Mm.
parents are relying on me, or like my
Yeah.
parents did so much to send me here. Like I can't like not do this properly.
Yeah,
Right.
no, oh my god, yes, this is what we were talking about. And just like the follow up point to that is when you said like we're our parents' biggest investments, it's not like they have put that pressure on
Right.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but it feels
never-
like pressure.
Yeah, that's never been the case ever. My parents are truly one of the most supportive people I know. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if I have to rely on anyone, it's my parents. Like they got
Yeah.
my back through
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
through, right? And they've never been the people to put that pressure on me. But it's that type of like pressure that I put on myself because I've seen the work my parents have put
Yeah.
in
Right,
Exactly.
right.
to get me to the stage that I am at, and for me to just take it lightly is
Yeah.
something I can't do.
Yeah.
Maybe this also ties into the older sister guilt, like the
Yeah.
eldest child
Wait, that's
guilt.
interesting dynamic because I'm the youngest in my family.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
interesting. I'm the
Yeah.
oldest too.
That's crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy. This, I don't know what it ties to,
Yeah.
but there are like a lot of things, and I just feel like there's this like, as international students, again, I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm just speaking for myself right
Yeah.
now. It's like I put that pressure on myself that if I fail or if I fuck up,
Right. That's
my
like money
parents,
down
yeah,
the drain
like my parents'
almost.
hard work
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
going to shit for that.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I can't afford that. Like you can't live within the sphere of mediocrity as an international student because that's the pressure you put on yourself.
Yeah.
Right, right. And like from an outsider's perspective, as someone who's not an international student, how do you guys feel about like the stigma that international people are like here to party? They've got wealthy parents, like they're just, you know, living their best life off their parents' money, and
Girl, I wish.
yeah. Just from what you guys have said, like that's clearly not the case. And I feel like even I kind of thought that way when I was in high school, just because like high school international students
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
were, I guess, a different a different breed, let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But like going into university, I feel like every single international student who I've met is like working their butt off. Like
Oh.
they're really like putting in the work, putting in the effort, and like a lot of them, like I don't know about you, but I know Harshita, you're working as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I know so many like international students who had like 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah.
oh my god,
Like,
yeah,
I feel like I had at one point had like 2 jobs
Same.
just like pay the bills and stuff.
Same.
that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like, I think ever since ever since I came to Canada,
Mhm.
it took me I came to Canada end of August 2021, right?
Mm.
Within 2-3 weeks, I found myself a job.
Mhm. Yeah,
And I found myself another job.
yeah,
And when I first came to Canada, I was working 2 jobs, and then I finally found like a proper job that was giving me the hours I needed.
right.
So I was working 40 hours a week, plus school,
That's
plus all the
crazy.
volunteering that I do,
Yeah,
right? Just to build my resume, just to make
Mm.
sure like I am doing
the most.
the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I think like until today I do work 40 hours retail job, but
Yeah,
fucking hate it. But yeah, I'm still doing that. I'm still part of like clubs,
Yeah.
unions, whatever, right? I'm taking 4 courses. I'm looking for a co-op, so hire people that are hiring if you're listening. Hire
Yeah.
me. But no, all of that, and I think I've set myself up in that way where
yeah,
if I don't work or if I don't put everything into everything I do,
right.
I will start feeling guilty. Like
Yeah.
days when I have off, I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
very abnormal. I don't feel nice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's something I see with a lot of international students. Like, they're some of the most ambitious people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And part of that is because it's driven by fear.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's
have-
crazy.
They
Yeah.
have to do the most just to, like, survive in this kind of, like, society. Just
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
put into so much, like barriers
Hmm.
systemically. Like,
Hmm.
even, like, with co-ops, there's so many jobs that we can't even apply to
Yeah.
without, like, a citizenship.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's still something I'm mad about.
I
but,
know,
I
like,
can't.
Yeah.
Like, I have to apply for work permits only
Right.
to be like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm not a citizen, so I
Yeah.
can't get a job. What was the point of applying for a
Yeah.
work permit? Makes sense when you actually dig deep into, okay, this is like a Canada funded grant, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, yada yada. But
But it's a barrier.
it's
yeah.
it's still a barrier at the end of the day. It still sucks seeing like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am matching 100% qualifications of that job,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I can't apply.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That makes
And
sense.
I think it also, I don't know, it's just like, I feel if I don't, also this, I don't know how to frame this, but like it stems, at least for me personally, stems from the fact that if I'm not consistently busy, if I'm not
Yeah.
keeping myself occupied, and I'm just like thinking, like I will drown into the fact that I'm thinking about home a lot more.
Right,
And I feel
right.
it's like
Yeah.
a way for me to like stray from
yourself
the
distracted.
homesickness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. I feel like I overbook myself all the damn time. Like,
Yeah.
I need to have something every day of the week. Otherwise, I'd be so sad. Like, I
Aw, yeah.
can't think of home. I can't think of anything else. I have to keep working. I have to keep moving. Like,
Yeah.
I have to do this and that.
Yeah. So did you guys feel more of a sense of like loneliness coming here or like a sense of independence? I feel like it could go both ways.
Definitely, like, independence. Because, like,
Mhm.
if you move here, especially if you move here alone,
Yeah.
like, you're kind of forced to grow up.
Of course.
and just, like,
Yeah.
Because you don't really have, like, family to rely to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have to, like, be the one to rely on yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
have to be
yeah.
the one to, like, take care of everything, to be on top of everything.
Do taxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
adult stuff.
No,
Yeah.
100% I agree with what you're saying. Like, it's both,
Mhm.
right? When I first initially came here, I was like, oh my god, I'm independent, I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want.
Right. Yeah.
That aspect of it all just went away so fast.
Right.
So fast. And
Yeah.
that excitement was gone in like, I think a month, because I was like, I grew up in a place where like I still am treated like a child whenever I go back.
Right.
I really don't have to put myself through hell and back
Yeah,
to
yeah.
prove who I am,
Right,
right?
right.
And here it was always that, like, do
Yeah.
everything on your own, always be on
Yeah.
task, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Ooh. And that independence, like, oh my god, I can finally be free, I can, stay out late, no
Yeah.
one's gonna stop me. That went away so fast because, like, even if
Yeah.
I'm staying out late, I'm coming home to an empty home
Oh,
at the end
yeah.
of the day.
Yeah.
And that is what sucked the most. I'm not coming home to my mom being like, why the hell are you so late, right?
Yeah.
And it was irritating when I was back home, but now I miss it. I now
Yeah.
miss my
Yeah.
mom nagging and telling me, like, you need to be home on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god, because like it shows that someone cares about you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
Wow.
this was like a Charles Bukowski quote. I don't know
Mhm.
it exactly, but it was like something related to freedom or loneliness. Like if you come home to something,
Yeah.
and no
Mhm.
one's like behind you, is it like freedom or loneliness? I don't
Right.
remember the
Yeah.
exact quote, but it fucking struck a chord. I was like, shut the fuck up,
That's-
man.
That's so like that's such an interesting perspective. This is something I was thinking about like the other day. I was out later at night and I just thought like, oh, like right now I'm gonna go home. Like if anything were to happen to me right now, I could call my mom and she
Yeah.
could come pick me up. Do you know what I mean? Like or I could
Yeah.
call my dad. Like they're right there, you know?
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to think about after like all these years of us kids being like, oh, I just want to leave. Like I just want to
Yeah.
leave the
Yeah.
house. I don't want them talking to me. I don't want them doing this. But like, yeah, it really like shows the privilege that some of us who grew up here have.
No, and definitely, like, sure, it helped me grow up into the person that I am
Mm.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I am a very strong, independent person, and I take pride in the fact that I'm very self-reliant,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes I do just want my mom to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I know if, say, imagine I get sick, okay? And usually when I was back home, my mom would, like, make me warm food, okay, cover
Yeah.
me in a blanket, be like, it's okay, give me meds. Loved it. Here, I
Yeah.
have to pop 2 Advils, put a fucking mask
Yeah.
on, and go to work.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Mom.
I know. I feel like an important aspect to being an international student too is like finding community.
100%.
Like since you don't have
Yeah.
like family here, you need to find family elsewhere.
Mm.
Right.
Like I don't tell like my friends this, but like one of the reasons why I'm like so like mushy with them, I'm always like telling, oh I love you, because
Aw.
like to me like I don't have family here.
Yeah.
To me they are my family.
Right.
they're my community.
100%. No.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like it's easier for you to make friends because of this like perspective?
No.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
No.
No.
If anything, being like as international students, when we say we've become very independent and self-reliant,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realize we've also become, at least me,
Yeah.
I've become very picky with who I
Oh.
spend
Right.
my time with too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Because if I can do everything on my own,
Then what's the point?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I
and
don't
if you're
need
not
you.
bringing peace into my life, then
Yeah, yeah.
I
Exactly.
do not need you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if I'm
Yeah.
making you like my found family, which
Yeah.
is, mind you, a huge term.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I'm not saying this to just anyone out there.
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
I need them to be good people.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. And with the way that you're describing all of the things that you guys are doing, like how you're filling up your schedules, your time is like a commodity, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense that you wouldn't just give it up for whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I feel like we're very like hardened by life, so we just like we put up
True.
walls,
Yeah.
and it's just a bit harder to actually like connect with people like emotionally.
That makes sense.
And it's not just like to other people that who aren't international students. It's even me as an international student. It's very difficult to connect to another international student. as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they have their different boundaries and barriers and their way and how they grew up here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah. Did you guys do all of your own like paperwork when you
No.
were coming here, or did you get
I
help?
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no agent and everything.
No.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Some of my relatives have now like immigrated over here, and I've helped out with like doing that
Oh.
sort of
Oh, that's
paperwork and
so
stuff.
nice.
That's great.
Well, yeah, because I mean, obviously it's
Yeah.
it's easier for someone who like my family doesn't have their English isn't as
Oh,
good and like
yeah.
stuff like that. So I've helped out in that way. And like it's also just interesting for me to see how the process works, right? And it can be kind of rough. Like some of those questions are like written in a way that like confuses you, and like there's just so much of it to do, like consistent paperwork. So do you guys find that like difficult? Yeah.
I think when we were, or at least from what I can say, when I was coming from India, it was still relatively easier because it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Right,
a
right.
lot of policies were made a lot more easier.
Yeah.
Right,
'Cause,
that
like,
makes
a lot
sense.
of schools wanted international students.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It was just the traveling which was a problem, but outside of that, things got a lot easier for us.
Yeah.
But now, especially with the current
Oh,
policies,
yeah.
woo,
All
Yeah.
the reform policies.
oh no, I don't think if I was a student in India at this day and age,
Yeah.
and I was planning to come to Canada, I feel it would have been a lot more difficult for me.
Right. Do you guys are both getting close to graduating?
Yeah.
I know. I think we're all in that senioritis kind of like feeling. But do you think you're gonna stay in Vancouver, or are you thinking about leaving Vancouver, going to a new place? Do you think it's easier for you guys as international students who've already had to make a big move to make another big move, or do you think now that you've already done one, like one is enough?
Yeah. I feel like for me, I've definitely like thought about other options. Like what if I just like go back home after graduation? What if I just like move to a different country?
Yeah.
But like I don't know, there's like this part of me that's like if I put time and effort here, I'm gonna make it work.
Right,
Like,
that makes sense, yeah.
Like I'm not gonna give up after like the first few like misfortunes or like every time I like fail at something. Like I'm gonna work hard for it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I have definitely thought, like, oh, I still have a year to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just, I'm not that old, guys.
Yeah.
No, I do, I think I still have a year to go if I do get 2 co-ops. Again, people that are hiring.
You just need to start, I mean, this is a side note, but you need to email the people who were at our event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get that networking. No, but definitely after I do graduate, it depends where the life takes me, because I do want to stay in Canada, like exactly what Tati said.
Yeah.
Like if I've made my life from ground zero over here, why the hell would I want to do
would you break
something,
all that down to like
all that down
yeah,
just
yeah.
to start from ground zero again?
That makes
Like
sense.
I'm not stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
That is a lot of mental issues.
Yeah.
But maybe if I do get a good job somewhere else after graduation, definitely within Canada, but Vancouver is not something that I'm attached to.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
That makes sense. 'Cause personally, I've been like, I want to get out of here, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I guess like those same questions of like, do I want to go through the process of like going to a whole new country? But maybe not. Maybe I'll go to like Toronto or like Montreal.
If you could, which
know?
country would you choose to go, or which one were you planning to go to?
I don't know. Like it's
Yeah.
all out. It's all an open book for me right now.
Oh.
I've always been attracted to Europe, but I've never been there. I was born there, but I've never like visited since I was 2. So I don't really know how life is like there. The US I know has good like job opportunities and good pay usually. However, I am not the biggest fan of like the environments there.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, it's all an open book. Ideally, like as you guys said, I mean, at the end of the day, I've also like built my life here. I have jobs, like my citizenship is here. It'd be way easier if I stayed here or in Canada at least. So maybe that's the move, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Something went in my eye.
Don't cry, girl.
Something went in my eye. Anyway, that'll be
Good
fine.
excuse.
We saw you tearing up.
It's true. Something went in my
Guys,
eye.
for the record, Harshita just teared up.
I did. Something went in my eye. No, but 100%, like, but at the end of the day, if I do have to do my master's, which
Yeah.
I know I will be doing after, like, getting some work experience,
Right.
I will come back to SFU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that is 100% without a doubt that I'm saying it. I don't think within Canada that there is a better communications department
Right.
100%.
than
Right.
SFU has. Like,
Yeah.
this is something I've realized after starting my major in communications, being
Yeah.
part of CMNSU, being engaging with the profs and everything else. Like,
Yeah.
shit, there's
Yeah.
nothing better. They
Yeah.
like the profs genuinely do give a fuck
Yeah.
about their
Yeah.
students, which is something I don't see very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I take a lot of pride
Me
in being
too.
in the comms program and being in CMSU. Like,
Yeah.
we have some of like the best professors, the best comms
Faculty,
program,
yeah.
Yeah.
faculty.
No, me too. And you notice that even just from doing courses outside of this
Yeah.
program at the same school, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, I've also looked into master program.
Oh.
I don't.
Interesting.
I seem to like every semester be thrown like into it or off from it. You know what I mean? So right now I'm in an off from it phase,
Yeah.
but we'll see
Talk
what happens.
Talk to Alan.
Oh, I know he'll promote it for me for sure. But yeah, I think SFU definitely has like one of the best comms programs in the world, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said it.
We said it
it
right
here.
here, right now. Like even just from the fact that no other school really has a comms like undergrad program,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah.
the same way that ours has one. The other programs that I've seen are like media based,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
slightly different, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think one thing that's not talked about, bringing back to the topic of international.
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Sorry,
We
tangent.
Sorry.
distracted so hard. Yeah.
That happens all the time on this
Yeah,
podcast.
it was definitely not about me tearing up, right? Yeah. But coming back to the topic of international students, which something that we still I don't think have talked about in this podcast, what Tati and I were talking about yesterday,
Yeah.
is that people don't realize that I'm almost 3 years into this country. You're almost 2-3 years
Yeah,
into this
I'm the
country.
same.
Yeah.
August 21.
Right?
Yeah.
And it still doesn't get easier when it
Oh.
comes to homesickness, or just in general it doesn't
Yeah.
get easier.
It never
Right.
does.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that I've never seen people talk about it, and I'm so sad.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Do you think it'll get easier if you had more like familial ties? Like if you were to stay here for another like 10 years and get married and have kids, do you think at that point it'll be easier or no?
I feel like there's always going to be a part of you that's like left back home.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And that's
yeah.
something you could never
Yeah.
really like, even if you build your whole life here, like it's never going to go away. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
still like live like your childhood
Yeah.
like
That makes sense.
experience
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
It's
I
just a
s-
different
Yeah.
different
it's
phase.
different.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I do have a community here, which I'm super
Mm.
grateful for.
Yeah.
Right? I have built my life here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But it still never would compare to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
feeling of home.
Yeah.
Like, I went
Right.
back to India last year for the summer,
Mhm.
which was the first time in my entire university I took a break.
Right.
Right? Crazy. But I went back to India for 3 months, and oh my god, I thought I was gonna get so bored because
Yeah.
I would
Aw.
have nothing to do, like
Aw.
no
Yeah, yeah,
studies,
yeah.
nothing. Why am I even going back for 3 months?
Yeah.
Bro, oh god. It was still till that point when I was heading back
Yeah.
from India to here. I was like, it's gonna be so much easier when I come back here now because like, okay, it was just like a vacation. Hell no, it was worse. I
Yeah.
cried every damn
Yeah.
day
Aw,
the week
yeah.
before I left my
Yeah.
parents. I was
Right.
like, this never truly will ever get easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little bit different. I go home every summer.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice, girl. That is nice.
That is
And, like,
nice.
Every single time I like get on a plane to leave the Philippines, like it never gets easier. Like every
Yeah.
single time, it always like hits me. The amount of times I've cried in an airplane is like
Oh,
embarrassingly
same,
high. Like it's
Aw.
actually so embarrassing.
Same.
But at this point I've attached so much like grief and like sadness
Yeah.
to like airports.
Yeah.
And I just don't have like the
That's
best.
so
yeah,
sad.
like I don't
That's
have
so
the
sad.
best relationship with like traveling.
Me
Because
too.
every
Yeah.
time I get into an airport, I'm like, oh, I have like this dread.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm leaving something
Like
behind.
I'm leaving.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Wow.
always have to put on a very sad fucking film,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
on the airplane.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that if anyone sees me crying, they
Yeah, it's
don't
like, oh, it's
think,
just the movie.
oh, it's just a movie, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and meanwhile, I'm just like, my headphones and nothing's
Yeah.
even playing,
Aw.
and I'm just sobbing my eyes off, looking outside the window. I'm
The
like,
movie
Aw.
could be like Happy Feet, and
Yeah.
I'd still be crying.
yeah. I'm playing Pitch Perfect, and I'd be sobbing my ass
Oh,
off.
I'm sorry,
Oh my
Anna
gosh.
Kendrick was so sad.
It's weird, like,
Yeah.
but it will never get easier, I don't think. And it was yesterday when I was talking to Tati about this when
Yeah.
I realized that I was not alone in feeling this.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Imagine after almost 3 years living here, she's the first person who I ever talked
Yeah.
to about this, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, she feels the same way.
That's crazy. I
Mm.
would have thought that like you guys have talked to other because we have a lot of international students
do.
at SFU, so I would have thought, like you would have
Yeah.
had this kind of conversation with others. But
I
this
feel
is
like-
your first time.
yeah.
I feel like we did talk about this briefly yesterday. Like,
yeah.
I'm 100% sure that other like international students do feel this way. I
Yeah.
feel like maybe they just don't know how to like talk about it,
Right.
or they just
right.
like they're just like I feel like everyone's just putting like a brave front, you know, like
yeah.
Yeah.
Or like ignoring it
Like,
so that they
yeah.
can focus.
yeah, because
Yeah.
like everyone wants to like feel like they have everything put together,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that makes
100%.
sense.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I've known Tati for like over a year.
Mhm.
This is the first time we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
And we're like, you know what? This should be a damn podcast so that
Yeah.
more people know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
And
so
feel
true. Yeah.
If in any way
Yeah.
this conversation can make one person feel like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not the only person feeling
Right,
like
right.
this, I think we've done our job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
With Cherry Pit over here.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
yeah, like I was so scared to like do this kind of like podcast, but I
Hmm.
was thinking like it's really hard, but so necessary, you know, like
Yeah.
other people need to like hear this.
Yeah. That's so wonderful of you guys. I'm so happy that like we had this kind of episode because I mean honestly we've been kind of like goofing off in the episodes
Which I
prior to
love.
this, which has its own place,
Yeah.
you know. But I'm glad that you guys could come on and like hopefully help some other people out in
Yeah.
listening to this.
Yeah.
So if you guys are international students listening, comment, Instagram, DM us. We'll get one of these two lovely ladies to respond, and you guys can bond that way. Yeah, I hope this
Woo.
helps some people not feel as like alone in their
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else that you want to say? Anything else that you want to talk about?
Hire me, please.
Yeah.
Please. Is all. No, nothing else. Good.
Okay, amazing.
I have some final things.
Yeah.
Yes, go
Maybe
for it.
just if you're, it's very hard to talk about our experiences to people who never had to experience it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if you're not an international student and you have like friends or like other international students, maybe show them a little bit of grace
Yeah.
and understanding.
That's
Like, you don't
that's
know
so
what
true.
they've like been through.
Yeah.
And for international students, you are not alone. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's
yeah.
okay.
Girl.
Like your feelings are so valid.
Yeah. Talk to each other.
Yeah.
I hope you guys out there are like talking to each other or talking to people who aren't international students, as you said, Tati. I think like just like talking about these things can really help
Yeah.
people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
to therapy. I
Go to
do that.
therapy,
Therapy.
honestly.
I do
Yeah.
that. It's very fun. Please go to therapy. SFU has the health and counseling services.
Yeah.
Genuinely very helpful. So yeah.
I've heard that they are actually very helpful. Maybe I should invest
Yeah.
in this.
Oh, you should. It's free. It's free.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you for
so
having
much.
us.
Thanks. We love you, Pits. Till
We love
next
you.
time.
Bye.
Bye.